Welcome to Chad's Adventures, episode number 9. Today I'm going to take a drive about an hour south of here and go to a city called Springfield, Missouri. Now, when I graduated from high school, I spent a year of my life in Springfield, so I kind of consider it my old stomping grounds. There's a lot of cool things in that city, and I want to go see a few of them. So if you'd like to come along, then let's go. Missouri has old barns like this one that are scattered all over the countryside. Notice the billboards advertising fantastic caverns. I have to say I've been there, and that place is fantastic. It is a must-do when you're in the area as America's only ride-through cave. Springfield was founded in 1835. During the time of the Civil War, there were about 2,000 people living in Springfield with divided loyalties between the North and the South. Today, the population is about 170,000, and the metro area has about 460,000. And right now, I'm driving past the old campus of Central Bible College. Well, my first stop today is at the old campus of Central Bible College. This is where I went to college when I graduated from high school in 1990-91. And that's the classroom building right behind me. And as I turn this way, you see the chapel right there. And the campus spreads over these acres, and there's several things to see here. But this college was founded in 1922 for the training of ministers and missionaries. It's affiliated with the Assemblies of God, but it closed in 2013 to consolidate with Evangel University and the Assembly of God Theological Seminary. So I have a lot of memories of this place. This is where I spent a formative period of my life, and I'm really grateful for the time I was able to spend here. So I just wanted to stop here for a moment and just reflect and show you guys where I went to college for a year, which is why I call this my old stomping grounds. To our right is the Assembly of God Theological Seminary. And right past the seminary is Evangel University. And as we get deeper into the heart of Springfield, we pass through Missouri State University. When I was living in Springfield, this was called Southwest Missouri State University, or SMSU. All right, so I'm at the Bass Pro Shops Outdoor World in Springfield, Missouri. This is the first one that was opened. It opened in 1972, and just since the time I was in college here, it has grown tremendously. And here in this parking lot, there are cars from everywhere. I see license plates from Wisconsin, Tennessee, Missouri, of course, Oklahoma, Illinois, Indiana, Arkansas, just right here all around New York. The sign above the door says, "Welcome fishermen, hunters, and other liars." So if you're a outdoors person, such as a hunter or a fisherman, or if you like camping, this place is the place for you. and the amount of merchandise here is massive. But first of all, I'm gonna go in the Wonders of Wildlife National Museum and Aquarium and see what that's all about. So it's the countdown of getting into see this introduction video before I go into the museum. And right above it's a quote from Theodore Roosevelt says, "There could be no greater issue than the conservation of this country." Just waiting for the movie to start. This movie room is so cool. It feels like you're outside at night. All right, the movie's over, and I'm about to walk up to a herd of buffalo. This hallway is full of Native American artifacts, but for the sake of the length of this video, I can only show you a small portion of it. There's a hall here depicting the journey of Lewis and Clark when they went out west and discovered the West. And there's different painting depictions of it out here. Of course, you know, a stuffed bear, things that they would have encountered, and other paintings. Basically, an artist retraced their journey and read their journals and recreated scenes that he thinks it would have looked like during their expedition, because no artist traveled with him on that journey. And here's some more beautiful paintings. That must have been quite a journey to go out there, and I say discover the West. I mean, it wasn't discovered because, I mean, there were people living there, but it was discovered by, you know, the Europeans. Apparently this is the Hall of Death. It's not just that side. They're everywhere. So this deer right here was taken in Iberville Parish, Louisiana, which is where I live. That's my parish. And was killed in 1958. It's a very interesting rack one. It was deformed. And 1958 was the year LSU won their first national championship of football. So another interesting fact. So with a deformed rack on its head, I would suggest that there might be some inbreeding of these deer going on.
I don't know if you know that thing.
This museum and aquarium are really big, so I can only really show you a few highlights of some of the sites in here, or this adventure is going to be way too long. So forgive me for not showing you everything. This aquarium is pretty amazing. So I'm walking by this aquarium. All these fish are just swimming by, except for a few of them who just stop right here. And they're just motionless in the current. Pretty amazing. Came across a really cool animal. It's called the splendid garden eel. And these garden eels, they live in the bottom of the ocean in colonies, up to a couple hundred individuals in their colony, but they all live in their own little burrow. And whenever they feel threatened, they retreat into their burrow. So I'm going to show you what they look like.
Why are these like the cheetah eels?
Looks like this fish wants to kiss me. Well, I found something here in the aquarium that I do not like. And here it is. So if you watch Finding Nemo, you'll see sea anemones. That's how you say it. And they're right here. I'm going to be able to touch one. Watch this. Weird. So I'm standing in the Bass Pro Shops store. I'm in the hunting hall right now, and this hall is where you can find your guns and your ammunition. And upstairs is a firearms museum. And there's a lot of different things here, taxidermy-wise, landscaping with there's a waterfall right here. And as you walk through this store, it's just massive. It has different levels. There's your camping gear right there. There's a knife shop right here with professional knife sharpening. And then you just keep walking and you get to all the clothing, and there's different levels in this store where you go to there's a restaurant here, a fine dining restaurant, and there's a couple of cafes. Down the way, you have a children's area with children's rides and toys that you can buy from the Santa's Workshop. So it's a pretty amazing place to visit and shop, especially if you're into the outdoors. James Butler Hickok, also known as Wild Bill Hickok, was a famous gunfighter in the Old West, and he lived here in Springfield in the 1860s. So I want to go look at the area that he gained some notoriety in, and so I'm heading there right now. I'm standing in front of 318 South Avenue in Springfield, Missouri, and this was the location of the Lion House Hotel, which was like a boarding house. And this is where Wild Bill Hickok was living in 1865. It was in this hotel where there was a poker game between himself and a man named Davis Tutt. And Davis Tutt won the poker game and took Wild Bill for a lot of money. And so there was an argument over the amount of the debt that was going to have to be paid. So Tutt took Hickok's watch, which is well known around here. Everybody knew his watch, as collateral for the debt. So Wild Bill warned him, do not wear that watch in town because it would humiliate him because of the poker game loss. But Tutt, he wanted to rub it in, so he was just openly displaying it whenever he would walk around town. So one morning in July of 1865, Wild Bill walks out of the door of this hotel, the Lion House, and he walks down the street here towards the town square, walking right in the footsteps of Wild Bill Hickok. I'm standing just a few feet away from where the nation's first one-on-one quick draw pistol duel took place. You see them in the movies, in those Wild Western movies, you see those all the time. But the very first one ever recorded was right here between Wild Bill Hickok and Davis Tutt. I told you about what happened at the hotel with the poker game and Tutt taking Wild Bill's watch as collateral, and Wild Bill warning him not to display that thing in public. Well, Tutt, he was proud of that. He wanted to humiliate Wild Bill, so he would, on the morning of July 21st, 1865, Wild Bill comes down to the square here and he finds him doing that, and they try to negotiate the settling of the debt and the return of the watch, but it wasn't successful. So later on that day, about 6 p.m., Wild Bill returned to the square and he found Tutt again displaying that watch. Well, by now he was mad, so he gave him his final warning. They were standing across from each other and he said, "Don't you come around here with that watch." So Tutt answered by placing his hand on his pistol, and they were about 75 yards apart, and they were standing sideways in dueling positions. And Tutt drew his gun first, but Wild Bill drew his and steadied it on his forearm. And there's some crazy guy that just came behind me, so he steadied it on his forearm, and they both shot simultaneously, but Tutt missed and Wild Bill hit him right in the chest and went past through his heart. So he was reeling from his wound, and he staggered onto the nearest building and he collapsed and he died. Well, so Wild Bill had to face a 3-day trial for murder or manslaughter, but he was acquitted after 3 days. And then a quote says, "Nothing better describes the times than the fact that dangling a watch held as a security for a poker debt was widely regarded as justifiable provocation for resorting to firearms." So there you have it. There's a piece of history right here, right behind me, in this spot right here. That's where it happened. Fascinating history. Today was a great day in Springfield, but I just scratched the surface of things to do here. The building on the left is the headquarters or the General Council of the Assemblies of God. The old downtown area used to be run down, but it's great to see it revitalized. Now it's full of shops and restaurants and business. Well, the sun is starting to set, and I'm ready to get some rest, so I'm going to sign off of this episode of Chad's Adventures. See you next time.